This is Sherman Tank and David Johnson. What's going on, David? How are you?
What's happening? All right, so I wanted to come on and in a big response to your challenge and go ahead and do my personal fuck Congress challenge. I've done the research on it, and I'll go ahead and read off some of what I found that is greatly disturbing. Because honestly, this is way bigger, way deeper of a problem than our presidency, than any of the impeachment, than any of that bullshit that we had going on. This is literally the lives of Americans. We have a debt clock right now, and when you go through and you look at our debt clock is soaring. We have $160,000 of debt per American citizen, and we're adding to that. And with what I found, so we've got let's say 157 million people who are in the workforce. If you gave 157 million people in the workforce the amount of money that they're planning on giving, the $1,200, that would amount to $188 billion. But we know that's not going to happen because you only get that much money if you make less than $75,000 a year. So that already cuts out at least 20% of the population. So roughly only 80% of the workforce is actually going to get a relief check on this. And that right there would already knock you down to where you're right around $145 billion, which is still a lot of freaking money. But we're nowhere near the $2+ trillion. And as we were talking about earlier, once this is all said and done, $6 trillion in basically national debt that we've expended on whatever the hell this is. So even if we turn around and assume that everybody in the country, all 327 million some people, were going to get a $1,200 check, that'd be 392 million people. And 392, it would work out to $3 billion in aid for any of the children for all 74 million. And it'd work out to $392 billion for all 327 million people. Mm-hmm. So we're literally talking 9% of this spending bill that they've done in total is actually going to individuals in this country. The rest of it, you've got 7.5 million that's going to the Smithsonian, 25 million going to JFK Center for Performing Arts, 75 million to the National Empowerment Act of the Arts, 75 million to the National Endowment for Humanities, 75 million for corporation broadcasting. And you've got 50 million for Institute of Museum and Library Services, 258 million for international disaster assistance, 350 million given to migration and refugee assistance, which that's a fucking issue right now. How about we actually worry about the people that are here right now and the people that lost their jobs? I lost my job, you lost your job, and all they can do is sit up there and turn around and take literally 90% of this bill and shove it to things that they've been wanting to do as their own personal Christmas fund, as an extortion. And the Republicans and Democrats who supported this bill should all be ashamed of themselves, and I'm going to remember it. Because at the same time we're going through and electing our next president, we're electing our Congress members too.
Right.
And I realize why Trump signed this. I realize that he didn't want to look like he was sitting by and doing nothing during this, and the news media was basically reaming him, saying, oh, you should just do it. You should just do it. We got freaking 453 million will go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. 300 million will go to the Native American program. 69 million will go to the Indian education. And when you count all of just the Indian stuff alone, that's over 3 billion. You're literally talking about the Indians in this country getting over $3,000 per Native American in the country per $1,200 that the normal American citizens would get. I'm cool with being equal and being fair and being reasonable about all of these things. But when you're turning around and just throwing money at things, you got the IRS themselves are going to be getting $250 million out of this. And when you get that stimulus check, you're going to be taxed on it by the IRS and have to pay them anyway.
Yeah, this whole process, and what's one of the reasons I wanted to do the Fuck Congress challenge is we all know that they are the haves and we are the have-nots.
Yep.
I mean, they don't give two shits about us. I mean, I posted this up a little while earlier that they had given themselves $25 million for expenses, or some people thought, say it's a raise, whatever. Well, it essentially is. It essentially gives everybody in Congress like $57,000 a year extra.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a completely ridiculous thing. Even though that they're saying it's used for expenses, well, you know, maybe Nancy Pelosi drinks that much on the airplanes, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe her liquor bill is higher than what we think it is, but I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. If you look at it, how much they're going to be getting per month on this whole thing. Basically, it's going to be like a per diem thing. So they're going to get X amount of dollars that they can spend per month extra than what they already have. It's mind boggling. They're going to end up getting, so we're going to get $1,200 a person, and they're basically going to get like an extra $5,700 a month. It's a slap in the face to the American people, the ones who actually voted them in. And you know, if there isn't some kind of a complete overhaul of Congress this next vote, then you know the country has basically lost it. I mean, there's nothing else that we can do. You know, voting is one thing, but you know what? They're ruining the freedom in this country. It's already pretty much gone. But when was the last time that 90% of the country was locked down like it is right now?
Never.
Exactly. It's never happened. Even during the Great Depression, even during 9/11. I mean, you know, we did some things during 9/11 where we cut off flight and air travel and all that kind of stuff, but that was mainly it. And here's the thing that worries me the most is the money that they just spent, the money that they're going to be spending and everything else. How much of those dollars do you think are going to be going to new alphabet groups like the NSA, the FBI, places like that? So I guarantee
we have different places right now that are going through. I believe it was the NSA just got new security funding to go through and screen all of the individuals for corona and for corona traffic online and to monitor it across the board. And a lot of this stuff, it's disgusting. And the amount of money that they're spending, our nation up till Obama had less than $8 trillion of debt. Before Bush, it had $4 trillion of debt. We're literally talking about in my lifetime, we've watched the nation's debt soar from 2 to 4 trillion all the way up to where we're at now at 24, 26 trillion. There's no way to pay that back other than in your taxes. I mean, honestly, I'm offended by this. I'm sick to my stomach about it because I got to pay this back. My kids got to pay this back.
Your grandkids and your great grandkids will be paying this back. This is going to be something that's going to screw the country for decades. It's not, maybe even a century. I mean, when we come out of this, when this whole corona thing is over and, you know, they realize that, you know, people are going to die. The thing is, here's the deal. And I'm not, there's famous people that are dying. Actually, one of my favorite country artists died today. Joe Diffie. Rest in peace, brother. I got a chance to meet him like 20 years ago. Cool guy. 61 years old. He passed away from this. And yeah, people are going to die. But here's the thing. Everybody has things that can kill them. I mean, you could walk across the street and get hit by a bus tomorrow. Less likely now because you're locked in your house, but but the thing is I mean, everybody's been saying this, how many people die from the flu every year? There's no national pandemic from that every year. I mean, this stuff that's normal.
Well, I mean, we're talking just from the flu every year in the United States, we're talking 60 to 80,000 people. And right now we're talking 2,000 people who have died from this.
Right.
Now, yeah, it might get a lot worse. It might get terrible. But here's another thing. There's a guy I follow. I follow a bunch of different people, good and bad. I play with the markets. I do my own investing. I don't really have somebody watching the 401ks for me. But the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy, he did a video recently, and he had a guy on that believes that this is the next Great Depression, and then it could take 27 years for us to recover from this event, and I believe it. But because with what we're seeing right now, we're talking about trade being cut off. We're talking about all of the world's ability to go back and forth being cut off. That's going to mess up your ability to turn around and plan for your future. New phones aren't going to be released, all the rest of this down the line. And then take into account how many people are not working or working from home right now. It's a staggering reality we're living in.
And it's just getting worse. I mean, it's not getting any better. I mean, literally, I have never seen the country go into the abyss like we have in this last, I don't know, 6 months, 3 years, give or take. I mean, it's gotten increasingly worse, increasingly worse, and increasingly worse, and it's it's kind of become a snowball. I mean, everything is just starting to build and starting to build and starting to build, and then boom, now we're locked down. What's the country gonna look like when we come out of this? The thing I was worried about, and it hasn't happened as of yet, because a lot of this is unseen. Could you imagine right now if people, okay, say this stuff was visual, you could tell someone that has this. People are going to start walking around with thermometers, and they're going to start taking everybody's temperatures. And I mean, I have one of those little temperature things, right? You scan your forehead, you can tell exactly what your temperature is. But imagine the finger pointing that can happen with this, right? So say you've been diagnosed with it and you decide you want to go to work, and you end up getting other people sick. The finger pointing that'll start around, you got this guy sick, you got this guy sick, you got this guy sick. And then it becomes, it'll end up becoming a huge thing. You've seen the videos now where people are going around coughing on food in grocery stores and licking things at restaurants. And this stuff was going around before this stuff came out, and there's still people out there doing it. Now, if you do it, since this Corona thing came out, now if you do it, you actually get arrested, and it becomes like a terroristic charge. There was a lady, and I'm not sure, I can't remember what state this was in, but there was a lady, I think it was California, that went into a grocery store and coughed on all the produce. And it wasn't in a big box store. It was in a kind of a small mom and pop place. They had to throw away $35,000 worth of food because this lady coughed on it and did it maliciously. She did it intentionally.
Yeah, I saw that. It was somebody. I'm seeing my videos turning around and getting a little smaller on yours.
Yeah, I noticed it too.
But I was seeing that same exact article. It was somebody that they knew they had problems with in the past, and people are evil. They're really freaking evil right now. They're going through and they're doing bad stuff for the individuals who are already bad people to begin with. And we're getting to a place right now to where I think we're going to start seeing violence if this thing doesn't come to fruition here and doesn't give up its ghost within about 10 to 14 days. People don't have the patience for it. About then, you're going to start seeing people who are no longer able to make their car payments, no longer able to make their rent payments. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are set up, but most of the things that are set up, they're set up as forgiveness to where you can resume your payments, but it's still going to affect your credit, and it's still going to affect you overall. So you're literally watching. I know my savings and all of this. I've watched 3 years of my savings disappear over this. And I'm only a month into this deal.
Well, now here's the thing too. I want people to think about. So like with me, I just bought a mortgage. So I had a bunch of people up here giving me crap because I didn't have my preps and everything completely in order. I mean, I wasn't like gonna die or anything, run out of food, but we spent a lot of money buying the house. We just did that in October. So we're only 6 months, 5-6 months out of October. And when you spend 10 grand or whatever for a down payment, and that's what you came up here with, you don't have a whole lot of mass money to be able to spend on other bills. And now that we're not working.
Not to mention too, the amount that it costs you to travel up there. I mean, you moved up there recently, you bought this place recently, and you had all of this in ducks in a row, and it probably cost you in total around 14-15 grand just to get into the place. And that's hard money.
Probably closer to 20 grand by the time it was done. But anyway, the thing is we spent all that money, and I lose my job, or I go on unemployment, whatever you want to say, and we get laid off. Anyway, but we start calling around and we start looking for some kind of relief. Luckily our vehicles they're going to let us wait till June to start paying those back. But we call the mortgage company, which is supposed to be our friends or whatever you want to say. They want their money, and I get it, but they would work with us, but the only way that they would work with us wasn't through a deferment. What it was they're like, okay, well, you don't have to pay for 6 months, but at the end of the 6 months, you got to pay it all. So our mortgage payment's like $1,700 a month. 6 months not paying that and having to come up with like $8,000 not working. It's completely ludicrous. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to completely wanted us to pay the whole damn thing off after the 6 months, and it's like, are you freaking stoned? Are you stoned? What the hell is your problem here? So,
well, that's the thing. We're getting to a point to where more and more individuals are not going to be able to make their payments. And my thought is on it is, yeah, we're still going to be under quarantine. And some of the things that are gravely disturbing to me, Redding just released an app from the police departments to report businesses that are not abiding by.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and they're turning around and saying, oh, report them for not turning around and closing down at this time. Well, one, you don't know if that's something that's actually essential or not. It may not be essential. By the same token, it might be essentials for the people that are running the businesses, because they're going to lose everything they worked for the past 20 years, and it's going to be a damper on your society to not have that.
Right.
And you've got to turn around and understand, like, I'm all about being able to say, yeah, let's turn around if you can. I've been personally at home. In the last week, I've gone out twice, and that was for essential things. But other than that, I've been personally home. But by the same token, you say you close the supply store. Well, I had my freaking toilet break the other day, and I needed to go to the supply store to get another freaking seal for my toilet.
Right.
If that's not open, you've got a problem. What you deem essential is not necessarily what I deem essential.
Well, and the thing is too is I hate to say this, but essential employees. I mean that term right there is you're classifying citizens, and I hate to say this, but guess what the Nazis did in Nazi Germany? They started classifying citizens, and they classified the Jews as non-essential citizens, and guess what happened to them? I mean, it's all it's this all leads to nothing good in the country. And it's just completely mind-boggling that we have devolved, I guess, into something this serious. I hate to say that, but it's 100% the truth. If we continue to keep going down the road, I mean, you're going to end up seeing people robbing grocery stores. In California, they do it openly.
Nonstop.
If you keep seeing this stuff, I mean, so up here, I don't know what it's like down there, but the banks here are still open, but you can't go in without an appointment. You're literally now, and I have to laugh at this because a friend of mine posted this, and it's the truth. You can literally rob a bank now with a booger.
Seriously.
Go and pick your nose and point it at the customer and say, or the customer service agent, and say, hey, give me some money. Or a sneeze or a cough, or I went out today. I had to get the hell out of the house. I went out today. I had to go to the place that I work, and when we left 2 weeks ago, we left all of our computers and stuff on. We didn't really shut down like we should have. So it gave me an excuse to get out of the house today and go to the business and shut down everything and just kind of hang out there by myself in this huge big ass building. By the way, a bowling alley with no one in it and all the lights off is really creepy. You hear sounds and shit that you wouldn't normally hear. And while I'm there, my alarm's going off on my Jeep. So I take a look out on the cameras and stuff. We have video cameras there. And there's a homeless guy digging through our trash can. And so I pop my head out. I said, hey, dude, you got to go. You can't be here. He goes, well, there's no one else here. No, I'm not bothering anybody. I said, well, you just set my alarm off on my Jeep. You need to get out of here. And anywhere I go in Anchorage, I carry a pistol with 20 rounds and a mag and 2 extra, So, I didn't pull the gun on the guy or nothing. I wasn't going to argue with him. I didn't want him, getting close enough to cough and spit on me. I just kind of opened my jacket up. He's seen it, and then he went along, It's going to get to the point where, this social distancing crap, it's going to start getting to the point where if you get too close to someone, they're going to swing on you. And
well, I'm going to tell you right now, I have been so greatly disturbed by the individuals that I've seen here in California and here in the area to where, dude, stores are worse than they've ever been. Stores are like freaking Black Friday every single day. I mean, I'll go in and I'll grab a couple of things that I absolutely have to have for the house, but you see people that are hoarding, stocking up. You see people that are just there. Like the last time I was there, I was disgusted because people are using stores now to turn around and hang out with their friends. I'm looking at 10, 12 people that are all standing around chatting and having fun, hanging out. And that's not the point of where you're going with the store.
Right.
You're going to the store to get your items and get away from people, but you're just sitting there all around. And then worst to worst, what I've been seeing more and more is store opening 6 a.m. People are in such a rush to find stupid crap like toilet paper that they're standing in line shoulder to shoulder with individuals for 30, 40, 50 people back. If this thing is as bad as what they say, don't be doing that stupid shit.
Right.
I mean, you're literally being retarded there. You're turning around and you're ruining the entire idea of social distancing and not doing that, even if it was something to where we all believe this is something that you have to do. I mean, I'm still of the opinion, honestly, heartless as it is to say, we got 327 million plus people in this country.
Right.
And if you're going to turn around and shut down the country and cause multiple millions, I believe today it was 3 million people to lose their jobs. That's the type of shit people kill themselves over.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can't turn around and do anything. You've just wiped out their entire legacy and everything that they've worked for the past 10 years. And you're going through and you're shutting this down. You better have a damn good reason. You better have at least 15, 20 million people dead by the end of this thing. And we're not seeing that even in the statistics and the charts. So we're talking about people who are completely being decimated on their lives and their livelihoods, and the government's just basically saying that we're going to continue on. Honestly, I agree with Trump. I think we should open it back up Easter holiday. And what the hell happened to the 10th Amendment? It's the 10th Amendment, right? The freedom to travel?
Right.
Now we're turning around and going through, and we've got all the different individuals who are saying that, oh, well, you're going to be arrested and charged with a misdemeanor if you have this. You're going to be charged more money when you may or may not have the money to pay to begin with. I mean, yeah, if you can, don't go out. But if you got to go out, go out.
Right. Well, and, that's the thing is that they haven't limited us to, going out to the grocery stores. They haven't limited us to any of that kind of stuff. Of course, they want us to go to the grocery stores that are close to us. And today when I went out to the business that I work for, I wore a mask, I wore gloves, and I made sure whenever I came home, I didn't bring the gloves back in the house. I left them in the garage so that, they're not in the house and they're not contaminating anything. Washed my hands when I got home. It's one of those things where, you got to be careful what you're doing. I think that it's gotten to where it's serious enough to where I think people are really starting to pay attention to it. But I got people messaging me. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It's gotten to the point where, the people who are starting to struggle, and here's the thing: filing unemployment, and this is what's going to cause people to start to struggle. Filing unemployment isn't something that's going to happen right away. I put unemployment, or I filed for unemployment a week ago. I just today opened my mailbox and finally got a letter from unemployment and what they're going to do. Up here, whenever you file unemployment, and I'm sure it's this way everywhere else in the country, you're supposed to apply for other jobs. Well, what other jobs are there to apply for? Everything's shut down. So we did get a notice that we're not going to have to apply to other jobs, especially if, we got a job that's waiting for us when this is over. And we're supposed to be getting a credit card or a debit card or something in the mail that our unemployment's going to. But that took a week and a half for that to show up. And
that's impressive.
I haven't got the card yet. Well, Alaska's a little smaller than everywhere else population-wise. Oh, you got yours already?
I've got mine right here. I finally got my card, and I got it maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I was laid off on February 20th. Okay. And so we're literally talking a month and 10 days down the line. I finally have that, and there's still problems that I'm having with it to where it's not going through. I kid you not. I call up the EDD office in the morning and it says, we're getting too many calls, call back later. You call back later. I mean, I'm up at freaking 6, 7 o'clock in the morning calling, making sure I got my ducks in a row.
Right.
And they're on Central Standard Time. They close at 12, so you've only got that window. So I'm calling back every hour on the hour. All day long for the past 4 days, it's been, we have too many people who are calling. We don't have enough staff. We can't turn around and do this. We have 3 million new unemployment claims this week alone.
Right. I mean,
and that's reported.
It was like 3.2 million, wasn't it? Something like that. So 3,200,000. So, and then, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because, I mean, there's still businesses that are just not shutting down. We got notification in my email yesterday that Cabela shut down, and Trump designated firearms dealers as an essential business, but not sporting goods stores. So, you're looking at stuff like that, and it's I mean, it's gotten to the point where I can't believe. Well, let's put it this way. I stated this on my Facebook the other day. It literally feels like we're grounded teenagers. There's only so many projects you can do at home. There's only so many things you can watch on Netflix and movies you have and everything else. And we're locked down for another month. I mean, they're saying till May 1st. So we got another 30 days of this crap, or just a little over 30 days, 32 days. And then they're going to look at it again and see what it looks like. But, they're trying to, break the curve. That's the thing that they keep saying now. So I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot of bored people, and we still have to have some kind of interaction. Luckily, there's still social media, and I'm not the kind of person that loves social media, but at least we can still stay in contact with our friends, our families, stuff like that through phone calls and whatever. But with the business that I run, we deal with a lot of customers, and I'm starting to miss them. I really am. I'm starting to miss them. And we have a lot of older clients too. So, we have a lot of seniors and stuff that come in every day almost. And, I'm kind of worried about them because not all of them are in great shape. I know one of them this last year had an episode where he didn't get enough oxygen and the guy passed out. And we actually have an employee that had, quadruple bypass 5 or 6 years ago, and he's not real healthy. So it's I don't know.
Well, one of the things I would say too is if you're healthy and you can do it, and you are already going out there, if you've got a neighbor that's elderly or a parent that's elderly, I know for my parents, I've been going out and I've been trying to get them their groceries, or they've been doing the pickup from the store where they'll order online and have them turn around and drop it off just to avoid the crowds. Really, the people who are being affected by this is not the younger generation. If you're 45 or elderly, yeah, by all means, stay home, avoid it. Don't put yourself in danger for something like this. But so far, we've seen the mortality rate being at 0.002% for individuals who are under about 45 years of age. So if you can lend that helping hand and go out and get groceries for somebody who's maybe 70-year-old neighbor that's next door, go out and help them out. I mean, ask them if they need something. The saddest picture I've seen around on Facebook is that one of that little old lady that's on the toilet paper aisle looking for toilet paper, and she's not going to be able to go to all kinds of different stores.
Right.
The battles we go through, they're way different than the battles that somebody that age is going through. So if you've got it, share it. I mean, it's what we're going to get through this with is community. And the scary thing is community, I believe, is going to be breaking down within these next coming weeks and coming month especially. I think what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that America is resilient, and we've made it through right about 3 weeks of this mess. Mm-hmm. But we're already seeing people get antsy. We're seeing shelves that have been not stocked for a while, but the true sadness is going to start hitting when people start running out of money and they're not able to get what they need to get done.
Yep.
And any parent who is worth their weight in salt would do anything for their children, myself included. And we all know what that anything entails and would come to if it ends up going out to that point. And so it's something to where we've got to stand strong, because the stronger we stand as a community, the longer we can turn around and hold off demons at bay. And if you don't have community, now's a good time to start reaching out, at least on social media, and develop one, because people have stuff that you need.
Well, and here's the thing too, David, and I wanted to mention this because it is important that right now with this everybody being locked down and stuff like that, and this is why I started the Fuck Congress Challenge, is because we can't go out and we can't rally. We can't go out and get in the politicians' faces right now. So we need to do that from social media. We need to do that online. And, letters and petitions and stuff like that, they don't do us any good. I hate to say that, but they don't. They get petitions and stuff. They usually go in the garbage. It doesn't get us far enough. And the thing is if you start making these politicians look bad in the public eye, you've already done your job. You've already, made headway. The thing is you make it loud enough, you get your voices loud enough and you get heard, then the news organizations have to start picking it up. It's like the Walkaway Movement, I mean, how big did that get here in the last couple of years? It got huge, and it started with one guy. He did a great job at getting other people to, and this was a Democrat, by the way, got tired of it. The party walked away from him and his values. And so he started this, and next thing you know, it's blowing up, and he's got 3, 4, 5 million people that have walked away from the Democratic Party because the party just left them alone, left them in the dust. So we're going to have to, as conservatives, as patriots, as concerned citizens of this country, we're going to have to lay into them online and remind them that they still work for us. And the only way to do that is to do it online right now.
Well, I think there needs to be a walk away for both parties. I think the Democrats should say fuck this and the Republicans should say fuck this, because none of them are into our values. We're at a place right now with what they just passed in Congress, less than 9% of that stimulus bill is actually going to the people that are actually going to be hurting. And we've got all of these individuals on both right and left that agreed to this deal that is going to literally leverage our nation's debt by another 20% by the time it's all done. And we're going to be left front in the bill. Our kids are going to be left front in the bill, and they're not paying any attention to it. And we've got to be able to turn around and stand up for our values, walk away. I think Trump is doing a great job. I'm sad that he signed this. I think that there was all kinds of pressure, and I think he's trying to do it to ensure his candidacy and ensure his presidency, which is not a good thing in my opinion. I want him to have as much balls as anybody else that we'd elect, but I don't know that anybody would stand up to that scrutiny and not cave like he's done, because he's got every media outlet. It's hard to find this information. When you go through, I dare you, look up on Google, what did this money, what did your tax dollars go to? Right. When you search it up, you're not going to find it. You're going to find 20, 30, 50 pages before you finally get down to somebody that's grilling them for truth to show all of this other extra crap that they added in. The IRS is getting 250 million of this, and you still have to pay taxes on it. Why do we even have the IRS anymore?
Well, and the Kennedy Center, how much did the Kennedy Center get? And they're
75 million, I think.
And they're built already, and it's done. And why do they need that kind of money? I mean,
who the fuck gives a crap's ass about the performing arts right now when there's people dying in the fucking streets? Nobody's going to any shows, and you're out there trying to give $25 million to the performing arts? I don't give a crap about seeing a ballerina dance. Give $25 million to freaking somebody who's going to lose their job.
Hey, I'll go and watch it if they do the routine in hazmat suits. That might be entertaining.
That would be entertaining. At least get something for your money. I mean, gosh.
I don't know. I hope the people that are out there that watch this stuff, I hope that you guys are prepared. I hope that you guys can make it through this. I hope that you've got everything that you need to get through it. But we need to come out of this, as far as the libertarians, conservatives, whatever you want to call us. I hope that you can come out of this even more fired up than what it was before you went in. And I mean, really fired up, like getting other people involved. I hope that there's other people that are seeing this and seeing the farce that it is, and just understanding that the people who, the haves, I'm going to say the haves, completely screwed the country. And like I said earlier, for decades, not just, in our lifetime, it's going to be decades. And, expect inflation. A friend of mine, we got into a conversation a couple days ago. A friend of mine said that it's not only going to affect us in taxes and stuff like that, but the inflation is going to happen. Now, here's what's going to happen. And I can see it now. So once we start coming out of this thing, you've already seen it in the grocery stores. Right now, we are so empty. And I mean, as soon as they stock something, it's out. And as soon as they stock something, it's out. So, how long is it going to take for the grocery stores to stock back up to be able to support, the amount of people that are in this country again? It's going to take them a long time. And that's the scary thing is we're not going to come out of this in like a month. We're not going to come out of this in 6 months. It's going to take a year for any grocery stores to catch up on the stuff that they're out of. When was the last time you went in and seen hand sanitizer anywhere? I haven't seen any in a while.
Even the alcohol aisles. I mean, first thing I did when I saw that all the alcohol was bought, I bought myself some vodka. I'll wash my hands in that. It's basically the same thing. It may be half the consistency of the rubbing alcohol, but you know what? It's better than nothing.
Well, I mean, and just basic stuff. I mean, okay, I went in. I take a pill. I went into the pharmacy at Cars the other day and looked for a pill cutter. They're out. They don't have any. Because there's been a huge supply and demand on different medications and stuff across the country. Same thing with the one funny thing I thought I had a hard time finding was hydrogen peroxide. I looked in like 7 different stores, and I got lucky and I found it in a Cars grocery store, and there was 4 bottles. I grabbed 2 of them. Luckily they let us come out with both of them, but hydrogen peroxide is good for cuts and scrapes and stuff like that. But the major stuff they're out of. You still go in there and you can still find all kinds of gluten-free crap if you like to eat dirt and weeds and that kind of shit. But I don't know. It's you can definitely tell the people that are freaking out because they didn't see this stuff coming. Honestly, we weren't really as stocked up as we should have been, but we got lucky and we had the money to go out and pick stuff up, and we did it late at night. We didn't do it when the rush was going on. But it's different. I mean, like I said, everybody kind of gave me crap because we didn't have everything 100% ready. But I left California after being there 8 years. We were pretty good. You get up here, you're only here for a year. It takes some time to stock stuff like that back up. So I wasn't 100% ready. I was about 80% ready. But, no one sees this stuff coming. And I almost shit a brick whenever I found out that they were going to lock everybody down. And the scary thing is now residents are from New York. I don't remember what state they're doing this in, but they're starting to go house to house looking for residents in New York to send them back. So now they're starting to go house to house. National Guard is what I've heard. I've seen a few different articles here or there where they are they're not wanting people to go to different towns. They're not wanting people to leave their areas. So they're pulling people over as they're trying to leave the state. So they've literally locked states down. State access from other states, and it's interesting to see that because I know that like New York right now is a huge hotspot. California is a huge hotspot. So you're going to start seeing that too. They're not going to let people come in. I do know that from Nevada to California now they're pulling people over at the border. There's one of my friends came over with ammo and he got stopped, and they asked him why he was coming back into California, and he made up some BS excuse and they let him go. But they're taking it serious. And can you imagine being a cop in today's society right now? I could not imagine it. I mean, I wouldn't want to pull anybody over. I wouldn't want to, risk getting coughed on or spit on, and that's a daily occurrence with cops. I could not imagine going to work and having to worry about that kind of crap right now.
So how far off the deep end do you want to go? Because I know I'm on my stream and I know I'm on your stream, but there's a number of different things right now that I've been hearing that we'll get into some of the speculation and some of the conspiracy theorist stuff, which I'll gladly label as that. But I think it's good to look at from a standpoint of things that may have some hounds of truth to it.
I mean, what else we got to do? I mean, we're stuck at home. I'm sure all of us have all kinds of things in our brain, and we have a lot of things running through our minds. I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole a little bit.
All right, let's do it. So one of the big ones that's been on my mind a lot lately is there was a QAnon post a while ago. I think I sent it to you. And I'm not a big QAnon guy. I've never really thought too much of the guy one way or the other. I think it's the equivalent of the boogeyman. But there's a lot of portions of it where this particular post is like right the hell on with what they're saying they're doing. God bless America, man. My video does not want to stay still for you, does it?
Nah, that's all right. I'll just keep messing with it.
That'll work.
I think it has something to do with bandwidth, and I think OBS is probably trying to correct it as the stream's coming in. I think I'm going to start trying to get my laptop to actually do the stream coming in. But anyway.
So one of the things that this was going through and saying is that it was prior to all the schools closing down. It was pretty much right at the beginning of this. And it said that the schools were going to close down. It said that there could be martial law. It said that there was probably going to be home lockdowns. It said that really this whole thing is not about the virus, but it's about locking down locations so they can go after the sealed indictments. And at any given point in time, and I did a little bit of research on it, it does appear to be correct from the standpoint of there's normally about 1,800 to 2,600 sealed indictments for our nation. But in the past couple of years, these sealed indictments just keep growing and getting bigger.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
So, yeah, we're up to 148,000 sealed indictments now. And most of them that have been there for years. And in this Q post, it was saying that they were going to be going to Guantanamo Bay. And they were going to be sending all these individuals, especially the worst offenders, to Guantanamo Bay. Well, I just got word from one of my guys who actually has direct knowledge, firsthand knowledge, that they're sending 500 of Sacramento's National Guard to Guantanamo Bay, which I'm thinking, why are you doing that right now? And I asked him, are they medical personnel? Because I have another friend who's in D.C. who said, okay, so they might be converting it over to a medical facility, which would make sense if you were sending medical personnel. But these 500 individuals, there was only 2 medical officers amongst all of them, and they were for the platoon. They weren't medical, quarantine, anything like that set up. So you do have some validity to that as well. And I mean, I'm hoping against hope that that's what all this shit is about. That it's all going to end up blowing over in 14, 15 days, and we're going to see all of Epstein's buddies and all of Podesta's buddies who are all going to be basically going to the big house with military tribunals. That'd be freaking icing on the cake. Lock me away for as long as you want, and I'll accept that. I don't know though.
Well, you know,
what's your thought?
I don't know. You know, I don't know if I have enough tinfoil in the house to. So here's the thing, you know, and I follow the Q stuff, but I don't worship Q, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think that anybody that's out there that wants to be, you know, somewhat, I think if you want to be informed, I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on it. But I followed it since it started. This is way back, like 3 years ago. I've been following it since it started, and I've never seen any actual evidence that the stuff that he talks about has happened. Or, I mean, the thing is with Q, and it's up for interpretation. Because
it's almost like freaking Nostradamus in some ways.
Well,
that's so vague.
That's the thing, is he throws out crumbs, and you're supposed to follow the whole gamut of everything that he's throwing out there. And there's been 2 or 3 people take it over, and there's been, you know, if you follow it and you know anything about it, there's been like 6 or 7 different guys claiming to be Q, and someone will take it over for a while. The next thing you know, there's someone else, and no one knows who this person is. But there has been, and this is the part that I will kind of support some of it. There have been pictures and stuff that have been posted online that couldn't have come from anyone unless they were close to Trump. One of them was a picture coming. It was a picture out of the one of the helicopters he flies off that Trump gets into leaving the White House. And it was a picture out the door behind Trump, and Trump's walking back toward the White House. That could have been someone that is obviously close to Trump. You or me will never get close to one of those helicopters. That's a damn fact. But there's also other stuff that's out there that are just like, it's so out there. It's like, what planet are you from? And then there's something that was posted a couple days ago, and one of it was a picture inside one of those medical ships that are supposedly out on New York and California, and the picture shows like a medical bed, but it's like something that you would strap someone down to, and there was a big like light kind of thing above it, and it looked like it might have been instead of it being a medical room, it looked like it might have been a room where you would basically kill somebody, inject somebody with whatever, and that the bed kind of looked like that too, like it might have been someone that was being terminated by the death penalty. I'll have to see who posted that and see if I can find it again, but I believe it originated from Q. I do know that whoever it is that's running Q has to have some money in it, because the videos and stuff that's been posted that supports it are professionally done. I mean, if you ever watch the one of the videos that came out was The Plan. If you watch that on YouTube, that was professionally done. I mean, it's really good. And I can see where people will follow that and go down the rabbit hole, but there's some stuff that is just so out there, like JFK Jr. is coming back to life and he's going to be the next president of the United States, and there's all kinds of just what the fuck kind of shit that they post. It's like, really? Okay. And a year or two ago there were supposed to be sightings of JFK, and he was supposed to be in the audience, and you're looking at this guy going, yeah, no, not, it's just so far-fetched.
Well, the biggest thing, the only reason why I even still take the time to look at some of this stuff is because we already know the disinformation campaigns that they've been running since the 60s that are already declassified. We know them 100%. CIA has been running drugs since before freaking anybody was making it big. They've already been going through and doing a lot of that stuff. And during the times that they were doing that, they were actually releasing videos themselves. So there's nuggets of truth in all of this stuff that I think it's important to be out there on and look at as far as what might come. And that's the only reason why I even go off the deep end sometimes, is because if it is true, then there's other elements at play that could go through. Have you been hearing any of the chatter? Some of my military buddies have been saying that they've been seeing some things, and also I've been seeing a little bit on the dark web that from April 1st to April 10th, they're talking about shutting off social media. And
you want to see United States citizens lose their shit collectively? That's how you're gonna get it to happen, because you shut off social media, the only contact that people have other than a phone, which most people don't like to use now anyway. Right? You shut that down, and people can't get a hold of their loved ones and can't vent. You're going to have a massive problem on your hands.
Yeah. Have you been hearing any of that though on your side?
I haven't heard anything about social media or the internet getting shut down. I'm not even sure that it can be shut down anymore. Sorry, looking at the comments, I seen something that was funny. Joan Rivers is still alive. No. No, it's I haven't seen anything on that. I've seen in areas where they're talking about shutting power off to businesses that are not complying with this shutdown. I've seen that, and I can completely see that happening. But shutting the internet down, I mean, you know, how long have we had the internet? It's been going on since I was in high school. That was over 25 years ago. It basically maintains itself anymore. The source code that's out there has been split so many freaking times. I don't think that you could actually shut it down unless you were to shut down all the satellites. You were going to shut down, which I think is virtually impossible now that we have like, what, 3,000 satellites circling the Earth or more. I think that it would end up being a massive undertaking, and I think that it would be extremely detrimental to the country, because like I said, you turn that off on the citizens of the United States, and you are going to have a shitstorm on your hands.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt about it. I do know that the government has been testing some things to be able to make it so that they can shut down particular internet sources and things like that. They had run some tests on it a while ago. But that brings me to the last thing that's happening. I won't even go into it fully because I think it's so bunk out there. But there's people that are talking about basically an asteroid or a comet that's going to be going by called Atlas, which there is. The only reason why I'll turn around and mention it is not to stir up anything that we're all going to die from this, and that's the whole reason why they're trying to send us home to spend time with our families. But it's more along the lines of somebody's trying to be creative during an evil time and turn around and taking it and saying, all right, well, we're going to all do this. But there is a comet that will be visible from the naked eye coming up in about, I'd say, 15, 20 days. I think it's on the 16th. And they're saying that it's going to be close enough to see it with the naked eye, and it's going to look like the full moon. It's going to come that close. But still, I mean, full moon's a lot of freaking miles away from us, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. And honestly, and ironically, the biggest solace that I have out of all this, I don't think Democrats would have fought so hard for those raises in this stimulus bill if they thought they were going to die next week.
Hopefully the asteroid hits Washington, D.C. while they're in session.
You call an emergency session and call it a day. 95% of the problems fixed there. But no, this is honestly, it's so disappointing to see what our Congress is doing. I'm going to operate based upon the same way I've always operated every day. I'm looking forward to the next day, and I keep planning for it. And I'm going to watch
my family,
my friends.
That's all you can do, man.
Yeah, it is. And at the end of the day, what we're seeing right now is both sides are not actually looking out for us. And we need to start being very strict and very stern and start going after our Congress and going after the individuals who are out there and getting in some good front runners who are not top tier, basically backed by Big Pharma or backed by Goldman Sachs or any of these other people that are going to push their party lines. You go through and you look at this, there's a lot of good people that were running here locally who we turned around and went with people who do not have our best interests at heart. And we keep doing that.
That's a fact. And they thrive on that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They know that they have people out there that will follow them to the ends of the earth. We may be seeing it right now. Now, I wanted to throw out this other conspiracy theory. So I don't know how many of my friends are actually, and probably nobody, but so my wife's ex, and I love her to death. My wife's ex is a Jehovah's Witness. I have to say this because if we're gonna go down the Q route, I'm gonna go down the Jehovah's Witness route. So the Jehovah's Witnesses believe that we're gonna have a rapture, right? We're gonna have the end of the world. It's gonna be apocalyptic, and everyone, half the people, or the people that believe that they're gonna be saved and they're gonna go up and live in heaven and so forth and so on. To them right now, could you imagine being a Jehovah's Witness right now? I mean, literally, they are seeing everything. They're like having a wet dream over this whole thing, because now they, I mean, in California, which is where he's still at. Now, I have a stepdaughter with Angela, so it's her real dad. It's my stepdaughter's real dad. And I can just completely see him going, yep, I was right about everything. I was right about everything. And, meanwhile, he's living in a van. So hopefully you're taking your showers. Oh, wait a minute. Everything that you took showers in is closed. So I hope you got some baby wipes before everything's sold out.
No, honestly, this whole thing for those kind of people, it reminds me, there was a child show called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and the best scene in that movie was the guy that was holding up the sign that said the world is going to end today, and the other guy was holding up a sign that said the world's going to end tomorrow, and they're both two homeless guys standing on a street corner. And the guy was like, the world's going to end today. He throws his sign down when the meatballs start raining. He points at the other guy. He's like, I told you I was right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I have no prediction as to what this country is going to look like when we're done. I think that there's going to be a lot of the social distancing thing, I think, is going to affect us a lot. I think people are not going to be as close as they were before we went into this. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a lot of accusations if they get sick. And that to me it scares me about the general population. So
I think we're gonna have a baby boom too. I really do. You got enough people trapped up together. I think that's gonna end up happening. There's a lot of people saying that people are gonna murder each other once they're actually home, but like I said on the last stream, there's no place to hide the body, so that ain't happening.
Well, and now think about this. And someone posted this earlier today, and this was actually kind of funny. Imagine, you were about to break up with someone that you were living with, and all of a sudden this happens, and you're locked in with them. Timing can be a bitch.
Oh man.
So I don't know. It's. I think we're gonna see, like you said, a baby boom. I don't know. We can call them the Corona kids.
Yeah,
Coronials, or the COVID kids, or whatever.
Coronials. I'm already pinning it right now.
who would have thought? And this is something else too. And I say things that are funny. I mean, I try and keep things jovial if I can. There comes a time to be pissed off, and there comes a time when reality is funnier than fiction. And this kind of goes back to the Jehovah's Witness thing, but there's a thing that they say, have faith, things will straighten itself out, and everything else. Who would have seen all the churches in the country shutting down like they have?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of gives you an idea. Now, I know that they didn't shut down entirely. They're doing things on social media, and they're doing cameras and stuff like that now, which is good. And they're utilizing technology, which is a great thing. But for people that have gone to church for their entire lives to now have to go on watch things from a video screen, I think that kind of tells you how serious this is. But at the same time, it kind of shows you, that kind of shows me, how serious is your church, and how much faith do you actually have that you can't go and worship the person you're going to worship. I mean, is he really going to save you if he can't save you from this? I don't know. It's just something I find kind of comical.
Well, it is. There's a lot of that. I personally, I'm professed Christian. I don't always show it. I curse, I swear, I drink, I do all the bad things, but by the same token, I do believe in Jesus. But at the end of the day, when I look at the churches that are about that and they're closing down, honestly, if you believe like I believe, I mean, I'd go to church and I'd do those things. And by the same token, it's your faith. So I'm concerned from a standpoint of faith in this country really has dropped off. And when you go through and you look at the country, the school shootings and the stuff like that, one of the things that always boggles my mind, separation of church and state, no prayer in schools, all the rest of that. What's the first thing we hear after a school shooting? Oh, our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. Why are you saying that now when you weren't allowing prayer in school to begin with?
Right.
maybe if little Ricky hadn't turned around and been abused by his teachers and by everybody else around him and thought that it'd be a best idea to turn around and get on media because all the CNN and everybody else was broadcasting all these guys' names out like they're superstars. I mean, honestly, what better way to get on TV than to go out in a mass shooting or something like that? Because you're going to have your name everywhere. You're going to be known. Everybody remembers all these school shooters and people like that for the past 5-6 years. And all these kids are basically being told that you're nothing special. And we're living in an age, even with our school system. There's 3 things I'm hopeful for out of this that I really hope do come to fruition. I hope more people homeschool, because most of our schooling institutions are just set up to liberal indoctrinate your kids and to teach them crap you don't want them thinking and to basically pin them against you. I can't tell you how many times I've read articles on institutions that have been saying that don't listen to your parents, we know better, we're the government, we're your daddy. I hope that comes to fruition. The next thing is there's a lot of jobs out there that I actually hope will continue remote working. I hope they'll see an up spike in people that are actually getting their job done, and I hope we see a lot more remote work jobs, a lot less vehicles on the road, green and all that shit and otherwise, but overall better for the family. And if you can go to work from your desk and not have to go into a cubicle, do it. If you can listen to music and get your work done and turn around and have tracking mechanisms, do it. I hope we see more of that. I hope that's one of the good things. And then the last one that I hope that when we come through this, that there'll be more of a sense of community when we're all done. Because the last time I saw a sense of community was 9/11.
Yep, I agree. And I think that, hopefully when we come out of this, hopefully we'll be hopefully we'll be kinder. Hopefully it will be similar to the way people acted right after 9/11. Because this does affect us all, and it's not just the United States that it affects. It affects everybody in the world right now. So, I hope hopefully everybody comes out there kinder, they're more understanding. Hopefully that the conversations don't revolve around politics like it has, and hopefully neighbors are willing to help neighbors recover. That's how this country is going to get by. So
100%.
David, I think we've been on long enough. We've been on about an hour. So I think we'll go ahead and I think we've covered a lot of things. We went down the rabbit hole a little bit. Next time, remind me, I'll bring my tinfoil down.
I think we should we should do an episode where we just come on with our tinfoil hats and go through all the batshit stuff that we hear in a week.
Oh, there's plenty of it, I'm sure.
I think that would be fun. And just like, I'd label it satire just from all the rest of the crap, just so we don't have that whole Facebook emoji that pops up to where they block it and they're like, fake news.
I'm sure if anyone can get blocked, it's probably us. But
I'm sure.
All right, brother. I'm gonna get off here. Hit me up if you want to go back on again anytime soon. I'm always looking for guests to come on with me. So hit me up if you want to come on. I can teach you how to do some of this stuff. David can too. So hit us up and let us know what you think. And I wasn't really ribbing on people in church, by the way. It's just my view, and I shoot it as straight as I can, and I just find it funny. And the reason I brought the church thing up was because the guy in Texas with the big mega church, he shut down all his stuff. I've seen a bunch of things on social media. You know who I'm talking about, Joel Osteen.
Forget Texas. Look at Redding. Like I've gone to Bethel. I like Bethel's music. Their teaching, I'd say half the time it's on point. Half the time it's rabbit hole material.
Right.
But they have this thing on Saturdays called healing rooms. They canceled the healing rooms because of coronavirus. It's like, seriously, like you're telling sick and injured people who have crap like stage 4 cancer to come there to be healed. And you're telling them don't come because of coronavirus? How much do you really believe in what you're preaching?
Exactly. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Love y'all. Thanks for humoring us tonight. And, as a buddy of mine just posted, no foul, so awesome. I love you all, and we'll be back on another time. So stay tuned, and we'll catch back up with you. Everything that we're saying on here is opinion based. Now, there's some facts that we throw in there too. David is really good about that. So don't take everything to heart. It's our yeah, right. It's our view. And we're entitled to it. It's part of the First Amendment. So, take your frustrations out on someone else if you're mad about what we said. Other than that, I'm Sherman Tank. This is David, and we're gonna get off of here. Take it easy, guys.
See you guys later.